we are back to read some more of Roald Dahl's The Enormous Crocodile. I know it's a bit later than I said it was going to be, so we'll just have a little recap on what's happened so far. Okay, so we've got the enormous crocodile, which is this one, and he decides that he's going to go out of the jungle and into the town to see if he can find some scrummy children to eat. He comes and meets his friend, Humpy Rumpy, who tells him that he is horrible and he must not eat the children. Then he finds his friend Trunky, the elephant, and he tells him he's going to eat some children, and Trunky tries to tell him no. Then he goes further into the jungle and meets Mugglewump, the monkey. Again, Mugglewump tells him not to eat any children, but he snaps down the tree to try and eat him. Then he meets the roly-poly bird, who has the most glorious tail. Look at that, beautiful. And the roly-poly bird tells him absolutely not, do not go and eat the children. But he snaps at his tail, pulls all the beautiful feathers off. Then, if you remember, the enormous crocodile found some coconuts and pretended to be a coconut tree in the hope that the children would climb up him, get the coconuts, and he could eat them. But before he could do that, the rhinoceros, Humpy Rumpy, managed to knock him over and save the children. Okay, are you ready? But crocodiles are tough. It is difficult for even a hippopotamus to hurt them. The enormous crocodile picked himself up and crept towards the place where the children's playground was. "Now for clever trick number 2, he said to himself. "This one is certain to work." There were no children in the playground at that moment. They were all in school. The enormous crocodile found a large piece of wood and placed it in the middle of the playground. Then he lay across the piece of wood and tucked his feet in so that he looked almost exactly like a seesaw. When school was over, the children came running out onto the playground. "Oh, look!" they cried. "We've got a new seesaw!" They all crowded round, shouting with excitement. "Bags, I have the first go. I'll go on the other end. I want to go first. So do I, so do I." Then a girl who was older than the others said, It's a rather funny, knobbly sort of seesaw, isn't it? Do you think it'll be safe to sit on?" "Of course it will," the others said. "It looks strong as anything." The children who were crowding around him. The enormous crocodile opened one eye, just a tiny bit, and watched the children who were crowding around him. Soon he thought, "One of them is going to sit on my head. Then I will give a jerk and a snap, and that will be it. Yum, yum, yum." At that moment, with a flash of brown and something jumped into the playground and hopped up onto the top of the swings. It was Mugglewump the monkey. "Run!" Mugglewump shouted to the children. "All of you, run, run, run! That's not a seesaw, it's the enormous crocodile and he wants to eat you up." The children screamed and ran for their lives. Mugglewump disappeared back into the jungle and the enormous crocodile was left all alone in the playground. He cursed the monkey and waddled back into the bushes to hide. "I'm getting hungrier and hungrier," he said. "I shall have to eat at least 4 children now before I am full up." The enormous crocodile crept around the edge of the town, taking great care not to be seen. He came to a place where they were getting ready to have a fair. There were slides and swings and dodgem cars and people selling popcorn and candy floss. There was also a big roundabout. The roundabout had marvellous wooden creatures for the children to ride on. There were horses and lions and tigers and mermaids with fishes' tails and fearsome dragons with red tongues sticking out of their mouths. Now for clever trick number 3, said the enormous crocodile, licking his lips. When no one was looking, he crept onto the roundabout and put himself between the wooden lion and fearsome dragon. He sat up a bit on his back legs and he kept very still. He looked exactly like a wooden crocodile on a roundabout. Soon all sorts of children came frolicking into the fair. Several of them ran towards the roundabout. They were very excited. "I'm going to ride on a dragon," cried one. "I'm going on a lovely white horse," cried another. "I'm going on a lion," cried the third one. And one little girl, whose name was Jill, said, "I'm going to ride on that funny old crocodile." The enormous crocodile kept very still, but he could see the little girl coming towards him. "Yummy, yum, yum," he thought. "I'll go gulp her up in one easy gallop." Suddenly there was a swish and a swoosh, and something came swishing and swooshing out of the sky. It was the roly-poly bird. He flew round and round the roundabout singing, "Look out, Jill, look out, don't ride on that crocodile." Jill stopped and looked up. "That's not a wooden crocodile," sang the roly-poly bird. "It's a real one. It's the enormous crocodile from the river and he wants to eat you up." Jill turned and ran. So did all the other children. Even the man who was working the roundabout jumped off it and ran as fast as he could. The enormous crocodile crushed the roly-poly bird and waddled back into the bushes to hide. "I'm so hungry," he said to himself. "I could eat 6 children before I'm full up." Just outside the town, there was a pretty little field with trees and bushes all round it. This was called the picnic place. There were several wooden tables and long benches, and people were allowed to go there and have a picnic at any time. The enormous crocodile crept over to the picnic place. There was no one in sight. "Now for clever trick number 4, he whispered to himself. He picked a lovely bunch of flowers and arranged it on one of the tables. From the same table, he took away one of the benches and hid it in the bushes. Then he put himself in the place where the bench had been. By tucking his head under his chest and by twisting his tail out of sight, he made himself look very much like a long wooden bench with 4 legs. Soon, 2 boys and 2 girls came along carrying baskets of food. They were all from one family, and their mother had said they could go out and have a picnic together. "Which table shall we sit at?" said one. "Let's take the table with the lovely flowers on it," said the other one. The enormous crocodile kept as quiet as a mouse. "I shall eat them all up," he said to himself. "They will come and sit on my back and I will swizzle my head round quickly, and after that it will be squish, crunch, gallop." Suddenly, a big, deep voice from the jungle shouted, "Stand back, children, stand back, stand back." The children stopped and stared at the place where the voice was coming from. Then, with a crashing of branches, Trunky the elephant came rushing out of the jungle. "That's not a bench you were going to sit on," he bellowed. "It's the enormous crocodile and he wants to eat you all up." Trunky trotted over to the spot where the enormous crocodile was standing, and, quick as a flash, he wrapped his trunk around the crocodile's tail and hoisted him up into the air. "Hey, let me go!" yelled the enormous crocodile, who was now dangling upside down. "Let me go! Let me go!" "No," said Trunky. "I will not let you go. We've all had quite enough of your clever tricks." Trunky began to swing the crocodile round and round in the air. At first he swung him slowly. Then he swung him faster and faster and faster and faster still. Soon the enormous crocodile was just a blurry circle going round and round Trunky's head. Suddenly, Trunky let go of the crocodile's tail, and the crocodile went shooting high up into the sky like a huge green rocket. Up and up he went, higher and higher, faster and faster. He was going so fast and so high that soon the earth was just a tiny dot miles below. He whizzed on and on. He whizzed far into space. He whizzed past the moon. He whizzed past stars and planets until at last, with the most tremendous bang, the enormous crocodile crashed head first into the hot, hot sun. And he was sizzled up like a sausage. The end. So that was the tale of the enormous crocodile. Remember, it's only a story. Okay, bye-bye now. We'll see you very soon. Take care.